Hey, it's Nina from Worship Piano Tutorials, and I'll be showing you how to play the song Ever Glorious by Elevation Worship. You know, I'm all about encouraging you to experience God in your quiet time when playing and worshiping God, and I hope that this song really gets you to that place where you're alone with God and worshiping Him. And if you need to follow with some chords, feel free to go on my website, worshippianotutorials.com, and find the song that you need. So the introduction for this song looks like this. So the way you play that is with your right hand you're going to be playing this melody. It looks like this. So pretty much two notes together. You skip one note and then you skip the next one. I mean the key, you skip a key. So two keys together, skip one, and then the one right next to it. And then skip three. And then again. The skipping the keys is really helpful for me to remember where to play, so that's how I look at it. Like I skip, you know. So again. So you can, rewind and, whatever you need to do to learn that more. And then with your left hand, you're going to be playing the chords F and G. So you can play in a flowy style like this or just octaves. Or you can play the flowy style. So it really depends on your, comfort, how long you've been playing piano. So, yeah, so that's the introduction. And when going from the introduction into the verse, you finish off with that G. And then with that G, and then you go into the verse. And the verse starts with the F. The chords for the verse are F, C, F, C, G, F, C. And from the introduction, you end with the F, the G, and then you go into the F. You are gracious in majesty. This is the C. Going back to F. You're the mighty and humble King. Going back to the C. Remember, we're just pressing on the chord. It's very calm at the beginning. And then on always, we go into G. You have always been. The F. And then you will always be. And then you go into the second part right away with the F. You are crowned with my sin and shame. C. Going back to the F. You're enthroned in the highest praise. And then on always going to G. You have always been. You will always be. And for the second part of verse 1, there's this beautiful melody that you might want to play. So it could be kind of for advanced players because it's kind of hard. So, you were crowned with my sin and shame. You're enthroned in the highest place. You have always been. You will always be. So it's a little hard to play it right when going to the G. Even I can't really do it fully, so I just go like. But for that first line, you were crowned with my sin and shame. You were throned in the highest praise. Always been, you'll always be. So it's kind of hard to play the melody when going into You Have Always Been. Ideally, if you're not singing and playing, you could totally do it. But if you're singing and playing, it's a little difficult. So going into the chorus, the chords are G, F, C. And those three chords repeat throughout the whole chorus. So transitioning from the verse to the chorus looks like this. Always been, F, you will always be. This is the C. And I noticed that they press on this note, just, you'll always be. Just once. And then, so we lift the cross, G, F has been over us, C. And then going back to G. For the Lord our God is ever, F, glorious, C. And the heavens shout, declaring over us that the Lord our God is ever glorious. And then going back to the introduction. Playing it through the same exact way that we did at the beginning. And after the chorus, it should look like this. Ever glorious. Going to the F. And then going to the F for verse 2. You are constant forevermore. You're exalted and still adored. You have always been, you will always be. And then for the second part of verse 2, we're really pressing on the chords and it's more powerful. So you're surrendered in victory. That's a build up to the chorus where we're playing loud again. Be. So we lift the cross, his banner over us. For the Lord our God is ever glorious. So you're singing the chorus and you're playing much louder than you did before. And to kind of help with the build up to play harder, you might want to include like twos in the chords. For example, when you're playing G, you can play G2 or G4. So lift the cross, and then when you're going into F, play the F2. See that? It kind of helps it sound more rich. Over us. Again, you see that C2. For the Lord our God is ever glorious. So you notice how I'm just pressing on the twos and it makes it sound much richer, much louder, and that's exactly what we want in the chorus, especially after the second verse. Now going into the bridge chords are F, G, C, and then F, G, C again, and then F, G, A minor, and then F, G, C again. So the way we do that is we're from the chorus, we go after the last line, we hold out the C before the bridge. So Lord our God is ever glorious. Hold the C, and then ever glorious, the F, is the name of Christ, and his love endures. G, ever glorious, C, back to F. Ever glorious, G is the name of Christ. This is the A minor. And then going back to F. And his love endures, ever glorious. Then do more power. Ever glorious is the name of Christ. You see that C2 again, making it more rich. And then back to F. And his love endures, ever glorious. Ever glorious is the name of Christ. And his love endures, ever glorious. You're holding out the C for as long as you want. And then banner over us, for the Lord our God is ever glorious. And you continue with the chorus. If you want, you go back to the bridge, back to the chorus, back to the bridge. And the thing that separates those two is that prolonged C chord. So after you finish off the chorus, you want to hold out the C a little bit longer for like 4 measures, then go back to the bridge, hold out the C for a measure or 2, go back to the chorus. So that's the thing that separates those two. Alright, so we practically went through the whole song. We went through the introduction, verse 1, chorus, verse 2, the stronger chorus, and the bridge. I hope this song was easy for you to learn. Be sure to leave some comments for suggestions, and like my Facebook page for updates.